Hey there. Today on Hopped Up, we're going to be reviewing Monkeynaut by Straight to Ale Brewing.
Welcome to Hopped Up, where we give you our unprofessional and somewhat biased opinion about the beer we are drinking. Appreciate you guys joining us again. If you haven't done so, please like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. You can also check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. The links will be in the description below. Jay, what are we going to be trying today?
So today we are going to one of my favorite breweries. It's Straight to Ale Brewing out of Huntsville, Alabama. This is Monkeynaut. It's their IPA year-round. It's one that I've always enjoyed. It comes in at 7.25 ABV and 75 IBUs. So a little bit more bitter. You'll have some of that floral arrangement with it. So hopefully that'll counter some of it. Like I said, Straight to Ales is one of my favorites. They've been around quite some time. They were part of the Free the Hops group, or helps spawn them into what they are today. Their brewery started years ago in a small little area of Lehman Ferry Road in Huntsville, and now they're into Campus 805, have the second largest brewery in the state of Alabama. So they've grown tremendously. They actually have a couple, if you call them subsidiary breweries, that's what they've done, is they actually bought Druid City Brew Company and Salty Nut Brew Company. So those are both organizations that fall under their umbrella. They still brew under those same labels, mainly through Straight to Ales facilities, and are distributed out to all of their but really cool place. This beer in particular was the 2019 best beer in the state of Alabama. So I'm highly excited and curious what you guys think of it. I don't know if you've had it before or not. I know you had the opportunity to, Ben, when you're here in Huntsville, but I kind of talked you out of it because I wanted to do it on the show. So
yeah, it was on draft too, where we were, and I tried some other stuff, which was fun as well. So definitely excited. I am to try this. I think it has some of the most interesting can art, just from maybe creepy is the word, just the way the monkey is looking at you as you drink this. So we often talk about can art and some of those things, and this one is just like you just look at it, it's just kind of a little freaky,
So I don't know, Andy, if you want to hit on the background of some of this, but Huntsville being the rocket city, where Warner von Braun and the entire space program, NASA, Marshall Space Flight Center is located there, the Space and Rocket Center Museum, which I think you got to take the kids and the wife to, Ben, when y'all were in town. But this is a play towards that. I mean, the monkey that went into space, obviously. So
well, let's crack and we can talk.
Yes, absolutely. Let's go.
Yes, I did get to go to the Space and Rocket Center. Very, very neat place. I actually went to space camp there a long time ago as well. So it was nice to go back and see it again. So
I like how Straight to Ale does their can art. All the ones that I've had, they really put some work into that. And I've had Monkeynaut, but it's been years. I look back on my logging, and I could have had it since then, but it was like 2015 was the last post I had on Untapped, and then the brewery started in 2009. But I never knew why. I never really researched it, why they called it Monkeynaut, and then if Huntsville, yes, the Rocket Center dealing with NASA, but it's the tribute to the primates from the NASA space missions between 1948 and 1961.
Yep,
that was pretty neat.
Yep. Very Hopefully cool. one day we can all have a little road trip and y'all can come over and visit.
Absolutely.
I think it's a great brewery. They have fantastic facilities, and they've actually sponsored some of the other events and things that I've done in the past. They've given us in kind both and merchandise. So cool place, and even their sisters that they now own are great places. So cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
I mean, that tastes just like a classic IPA. That's it does have that that the bitter hits you at the end. I like that.
Yeah, I mean, this is their year round, so it's their standard, and it's got that floral bouquet that you taste and smell.
Yeah, I was gonna try and get some of the. So the reason I am doing this, I like to look at the color and all. So looking at their website, they list their beers, and one thing interesting about I didn't know about Straight to Ale. They're, like you said, they're a big production. They make cider and mead and other distilled spirits.
And their own whiskey. They have whiskey malt. So they have, and now they're even into wine. So part of their location, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but where they relocated to is called Campus 805. So it's an old elementary school that they've taken over, and there's several other restaurants and locations there as well, but they have their brewery in the gymnasium. So when you go back into the old high school or elementary gymnasium with the basketball goals, they've taken that over, and that's where all the beer production is done, the canning and everything. And then they've started their own wine production as well. They have a winery, and then in one of the areas they have an old locker room area where the lockers slide, and that's what they call their speakeasy, and that's the entrance to their speakeasy.
Interesting.
So,
on their website, which was cool, they get into some more in depth than other websites I've seen about each individual beer, and then they have like a chart for each beer that lists alcohol percentage, the IBUs, and then there was this other thing that they had on there, and Monkeynaut is 11 SRM. And I'm like, well, what the hell is SRM? I've never seen that before. And so I was like, well, I got on the old internet to see that. Have y'all ever heard of SRM or what it is? Have you looked into it? It's standard reference method. And what that is, it's the North American gold standard for measuring the color of beer. So they quantify beer in color too. At least in North America, and I'm sure they do it in other countries, but it measures the wavelength of light as it crosses 1 centimeter of beer. So it corresponds to like the blue light
in the Rocket City with all the engineers.
Yeah, but they're the ones who post it, because I'm sure others have SRMs for their beer, but they don't put it on their website. And it's like, oh yeah, you could do it at home. You could, flash a blue violet light through your beer and then, record the loss in value of the light. But so things like the malts and how if it's filtered, or the water pH, fermentation time. What else was there? There's so many things that go in that factor into how the SRM can be affected. And so it's a scale of, it says 1 to 40 plus. So it could technically go over 40 for really, really dark. Throwing yams that we've had may be well over 40, but the low end is like your pale lagers, your Wit beers, your Berliner Weiss, Pilsners. And then the 29 to 40 and up is stouts and porters, Baltic porters, things like that.
So what I hear you saying, and I may be incorrect here, but you're going to do a separate YouTube channel, which is all about measuring the SRMs of these beers, just as a teaser tail end thing, right?
I'll get a blue violet light and I will play around in the kitchen here.
Yeah.
Maybe.
And that was one thing, though, actually, I noticed pouring this it seems to be a little bit darker than most of the IPAs that I've had and that we've reviewed here. Kind of almost a golden in color, brownish golden color. So I thought that was interesting. I noticed that just pouring it out of the can myself. So
yeah,
I'm
right,
definitely definitely going to keep my eye open now for SRMs just to kind of get a reference now that we have a reference of this guy here of 11. So my cheap attic light isn't the same as a nice blue violet light, so I can't determine.
I have to replace it.
This is a low budget. This is low budget
Oh,
productions
that's right.
here.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
So y'all want to rate it?
Yeah.
Let's do
Jen,
it.
is this your first time, right?
First time. Yep.
Hey, Cherry.
All right. So I actually do really like this, even though, I'm not the IPA guy of the show. Everybody knows that by this point. If you've seen any of our other IPA reviews. I think that, while it does have those notes of the floral aroma that we've discussed, and it does have the bitter, neither one of them are overpowering to me. They blend really well together. So from IPAs that we've had and compared this to, I think that this one is going to rate a little higher for me, just because, again, it's bitter, but it's not too bitter. It's floral, but it's not too floral. And I think it has a good mix there. So for me, this is a 7.5. I actually like this a lot.
Yeah. Ben, I agree with you. The balance, not too bitter, not too florally. And I too will give it a 7.5. It's a great beer. I'm kind of don't know why I've taken so long to have it again, but when you're in there in the beer aisle or at a craft store, you're like, okay, I've had that. I wanted to get something new. And so that's what I tend to do through the years. And I'm not going to go so many years before trying Monkeynaut again. So 7.5 for me.
Yeah. I mean, I love everything you guys have said. This is kind of the standard bearer for a lot of what we have in my region. So I've kind of grown accustomed to it. Then you get exposed to some of these others that are just, they blow you away. But given where I am and what I come back to, this is one that I'll go to any day and every day. Raise it right there at a 7.5 with you guys. So it's just kind of funny that we all three fall in line.
I think Ben's turning into an IPA guy, kind of. I really, after I first tasted this, I was like, there's no way Ben is going to give this a great score. So
yeah, I mean, I think for me, again, I think it's about the balance, right? The ones that I don't like are too far one way or the other.
Yeah.
If they're too far bitter, I don't like them. If they have too much floral, I don't like them. When they can mix them together and they can blend them, and balance it well, then I like them. I mean, take a look at the 90-minute IPA that we did from Dogfish Head. That one ended up on our Wall of Fame because it's a good blend and it had a really high IBU. And again, that doesn't necessarily mean the bitter taste comes through, but like that, I think this one does a good job of blending it. I don't rate it as high as that one because there's still some of those aspects that I am not gonna necessarily be the first choice for a beer for me. But I think overall, I think it does a great job of blending them, and that's why I like it.
Yeah, I think it's a great blend of hops and malts, and it makes it into the perfect mix that it is, and like that probably contributes to the color even somewhat. I mean, if you recall, when we looked at the other 90-minute, it was darker like this. I'd be interested to go back and look at that, but that maybe we do a follow-up on something like that, or a comparison between a couple in the future. Something different to look at. So I think that's great. So this is another easy math one for you, Ben.
Yep, that gives us a 7.5 for the Monkeynaut from Straight to L out of Huntsville, Alabama. For Jay, Andy in the attic, I am Ben. Please be sure to like, subscribe, and cheers that notification bell. Also, check us out on LinkedIn, Instagram, and Facebook. And we will catch you guys the next time we're reviewing beer. Cheers, mates.
Cheers, mates.
cheers, mates.